All right. So, obviously, you guys have been right there for the first 20, 30 minutes in most every game you've played. But when it comes down to finishing the job and playing a full 40 minutes, how important is it as far as the next step is concerned to actually just getting a win and having that tangible confidence that you can prove to the guys that they are capable of winning a game? Because I mean, it's been quite a long time since this program has won a conference basketball game.
Yeah, it's very important, Robin, for confidence for a lot of reasons to go out there and be able to finish one of these games or even play a complete game. And we've had stretches obviously that have been very good with our games, but overall, when we have that 4 or 5 minute lapse against a ranked team in this league, you're probably not going to win the game. And it's been different times in the second half. When you looked at the last one against Michigan, it was the first 5 minutes of the half where that thing went from a 1 point game to a 12-point game. And it takes a lot of energy digging out of that hole to climb back in the game. We did it. We cut that thing back to 3 or 4 points, and then they went on another run and essentially ended it. So, you can't come out of the locker room and give them 6 straight baskets and 8 out of 10 to start it. And then that's when you're not getting stops, you're taking the ball out of the net, you don't have the same pace, and our execution wasn't very good. So, that's where you have to find a way to continue the trust with each other in the things that are working early in the game and why we're right there. And, again, you just try to get as many reps as you possibly can in practice, and you watch film on it and what's working and what are the things we need to work on to get better. We have had 2 good days of work heading into the game tomorrow night. This will be the most physical team that we've played against all year. They battle you, they fight you through, they pressure, they're going to war through screens. So we have to handle that. That'll be a new experience as far as being on the floor against this type of physicality. But it is very important, Robin, to answer your initial question, to be able to finish one of these games off, to know you can do it, to give you the confidence. You look at Northwestern, the 3 close games that they have won in league, that's a confidence thing. So, it's important for us to continue to try to go out there and build the right habits and do the right things and trust each other and hopefully get ourselves over the hump.
Parker.
Hey, Fred. Yeah, I was curious about Ohio State offensively. They haven't shot the ball particularly well from 3-point range, but they still look like an efficient offensive team. So are they a little bit of a different style challenge in that regard than maybe what you've faced so far this year?
Yeah, they have been very efficient with their offense. And the other thing about it, they have guys that are very capable of shooting the ball. You look at what Seth Towns did in the last game, knocking down threes. Washington's one of the better shooters in the conference. They've got bigs that can step out and are capable of knocking down shots. But they play through their bigs. They try to punch that thing into the paint. They run a lot of high-low type action, and that's what I'm talking about with the physicality. And then really the game starts when the ball goes up in the air. They get 13 offensive rebounds a game, and we have to do a job on the glass if we want a chance to win. And they crash a lot. And you look at Young, a guy's just an absolute beast out there going after and getting rebounds from all over the floor, and he'll crash from anywhere. So, that shot goes up. We're going to have to do a good job of getting good physical, hard cutouts, gang rebound with 5, and then hopefully getting out and getting some transition opportunities.
Jacob Padilla.
Even when you were having some success against Michigan offensively, it seemed like a lot of those shots were some tough shots or some great individual efforts. Within the offense, what do the guys need to do, execute better to hopefully get the defense in rotation and create some easier looks so you don't go through those drives?
Yeah, obviously Teddy had it going in a big way in that first half, and we rode him. I did think we got some of his baskets within the flow of the offense, and then he just made some unbelievable individual basketball plays out there. Second half, as I said after the game the other night, our execution was not where it needed to be, and that's on me. And that's what we've worked on the last couple of days. Hopefully we'll execute our movement package better. But you can't walk out of a game with 6 assists and expect to win. And, that was the big challenge from an offensive standpoint the last couple of days. We took care of the ball. We had 8 turnovers. We gave up 8 offensive rebounds for our group. It was pretty good. but we just didn't execute and get the movement where it needed to be. So yeah, that's been a big emphasis the last couple days in practice, and we need to carry that over onto the game. It can't just be on the practice floor. You have to be able to execute especially when times get tough, and be able to execute through adversity. And again, hopefully we do that tomorrow.
Sam McEwen.
Hey, Fred. You said on your radio show last night that you had a meeting with each of the players individually over the last, couple of days. What did you learn from that, and what did you take from it, and what did they take from it? Yeah,
we had a couple. We met collectively as a group and, sat in a room. I thought that was a very important thing to do after that Michigan loss, and some of the things that I saw, some of the things that I talked to the team about, things that I need to do better, and listened to each of them. And they were, to be honest with you, more talkative than they thought that they were going to be. Generally when you go sit in those meetings where it's just the coach and the players, the coach does most of the talking. But, the guys spoke up, and it was a good meeting as a group. And then we had individual meetings as well. Sometimes if you are not comfortable speaking up in a group, you'll say something in an individual meeting. So we learned a lot. It was good, productive, and I thought we had a couple good, energetic days of practice. Now the challenge is going out there and battling through adversity. You see the teams right now that are bringing energy from all over the bench, whatever it is, without any type of crowd to help you through the tough stretches. You looked at last night. I thought, the energy that Maryland brought to the game at Wisconsin was phenomenal. Minnesota was the same way, and it was the same with Michigan at the beginning of the second half. They had all the energy, and a lot of it was on their bench. So, those are things that everybody collectively has to do better if we all are on the same page and have one common goal of winning. And, it was, though, to answer your question, Sam, the meetings that we had the last 2 days have been very productive. Now, it can't just be lip service. You have to go out and act on what you talk about and carry that over when the game begins. It can't just be a practice thing. And obviously, the importance of doing it during a game is what it's all about.
I don't want to relegate your walk-ons to a cheering section at all, but does the value of having those guys on the bench more obvious in a pandemic? I mean, Michigan seemed to bring about 30 guys. I don't know. I don't know how big their team was, but it was huge, and they seemed to have basically a cheering section. Whereas you guys don't have a ton of those guys. Is it hard generating it when most of the guys on your bench are playing in the games and are probably tired?
Yeah, but it still needs to happen, and when things are going well, it does happen. And, you see guys over there jumping around and waving the towel. And when the times get tough, it's easy to lead when things are going well. Anybody can do it. The challenge is, how do you handle the adversity? And until you get out there in the game, you really don't know. How your players that are in the rotation, that playing the most minutes, how they handle it. How the guys that maybe aren't playing as much, how they handle it. But collectively as a group, we have to be better and bring in that energy every time we step on the floor.
Jake Bartek.
Yeah, Coach, my question's a little more broad. It's kind of about the Big Ten as a whole. 9 teams getting ranked in the top 25, and I'm just curious what you think that says about the conference and where the conference is now at this point to where it was last year, and how kind of you guys compare with the other teams in your opinion.
First of all, that's a sweet sweatshirt. But yeah, It is. What was your question again?
The Big Ten.
The Big Ten. The league is better than it's ever been, and the numbers prove that. It's one of the best all time. When you look at the analytic numbers, I think it's the third best analytic number conference of all time. And for the first time in the history of the school, we are opening up with 4 straight ranked opponents. So. Listen, part of it, we're playing really good stretches against really good teams. And when they're going on their runs, we're playing against teams that have great experience. You saw the stat the other day with Wisconsin. Their starting 5 is older than the Chicago Bulls starting 5. Those guys have been together. They've been through those battles, and they've, obviously handled it very well. And, you look at, the game against Michigan, they have some continuity. Now, they've got a couple younger players that have stepped in and have played phenomenal basketball as well, but they've got guys that are tested in this league, and a lot of it, we're still figuring each other out. You can't use that as an excuse all year, but it is reality, and, it's going to be how it is all year, and you see who I thought the best team in the league to this point, Wisconsin. You see a team like Maryland go in and win that one. So, it's, that 17 games we have left, or 18 games we have left, it's going to be a battle, and you got to play consistently well for 40 minutes, and you have to find a way to battle through the tough times, and that's what we haven't done. And those are the stretches that have cost us ball games to this point.
Thanks, Coach.
Michael Bruns?
Hey, Fred, you kind of mentioned, preparing for a physical game. What's kind of been the difference with the way Ivan's been playing the last couple games?
Yeah, he's really played well. He's doing exactly what we're asking him to do. I think he's playing within himself. He's playing his role, and the big thing, as opposed to early in the season, he's finishing. He's shooting, I think, almost 70% the last 3 games. Unfortunately missed his 3 free throws last game, but has shot the ball better from the line in the previous couple before that. He's doing a good job battling, rebounding, which he always does, using his physical body. He's an important part of our team just because he does have experience, and he went through it as a 17-year-old last year, most of the year, but gained very valuable experience and knows what this league is all about. But the biggest thing I've seen from Ivan, he's really doing a good job just playing his role, doing what we're asking him to do, not trying to do too much, and he's had good productive games.
Okay, we'll take 2 more. I got Rex Smith.
Hey, Fred, I also wanted to ask a question specific to Ivan. With the way he transformed his body and worked on his game, now that you've seen him in a handful of games this season, are there any areas where you look at him and you go like, wow, that's really improved from last year? And are there any areas where you still think he needs to work on some things?
Well, yeah, obviously still when you look at his finishing numbers, he still needs to get better, but I'm seeing it trending in the right direction. And he, I think a big part of that is some of the changes that he's made to his body. I thought he really had good body position and body control on his finishes the other night against Michigan, and finished very well. Had a good back down, little jump hook that he's been working hard on. As far as his movements, I do think his movement pattern is better this year, and a lot of that is because of the work that he put in the offseason. So overall, I do think, I think maybe expecting too much early and maybe trying to force things, that just are not in his game at this point. But he's really played within himself, and again, given us really quality minutes his last 3.
Okay, we'll finish with Sam McEwen.
Hey, Fred, when you got guys that are struggling both from the 3-point line and the free throw line, you know a lot about shooting, and that was your career. I mean, that was your expertise for so long. How do you balance, I can fix that if you'd let me, versus I need to let the guy play through it because he's doing okay and his stroke looks okay? Like, how do you balance that? And what do you look for when you're trying to figure out whether to fix somebody's shooting stroke?
Yeah, it is a fine line, Sam, on exactly how you approach it. The biggest thing with shooting that I can say from my years of experience is it's really all about confidence. And, sometimes it's as simple as having a game where you see the ball go in the hoop. As opposed to you miss a couple and here we go again, and then you get down on yourself. And, I certainly I wish I was not as mental as I was. You can work on the footwork, you can work on the fundamentals. You take Lat, for example, the morning after the Michigan game on the 26th, he was in here for 2 hours before we even started practicing. And I can tell you the ball goes in about 80% of the time when he's in the gym. So it just takes a game to see it go in and to get the confidence. That's the number one thing as a shooter. You have to think the next one's going in, and try to get him as many reps in practice and try to get him as many shots, and then hopefully that carries over to the game. But I can tell you this about our guys that are not shooting the ball great right now. It's not because they're not working at it. It's not because they're not getting in the gym and getting extra shots up. They come back at night. I think sometimes, and I told this to Lat yesterday, might be working too hard. You save your legs a little bit. Get the the quality of the workout as opposed to the quantity where you're in here for that long. But really, Sam, the bottom line, it's right here. It's a game of confidence, and if you see it go in, it's funny how that works. But I'll say this: with those guys being able to shoot the ball the way they do, I'm confident the numbers will equal out. The basketball gods, they work in a funny way, and if you continue to put the work in, it's just a matter of time before it flips.